Chosen one, stop what you are doing and listen carefully. Do not move past this word. Do not treat this like another message. Heaven interrupted your path because God is speaking over your spirit right now. Pack your bags, it is time. But listen closely. This is not only about clothing, boxes, keys, or a door. This is about a place your spirit already knows. Your body may still be standing in the old room, but something inside you has already started walking toward the next one. That is why familiar places feel unfamiliar. That is why peace no longer sits where it used to sit. You did not find this by accident. The timing is not random. Something in you recognized the command before your mind could explain it. And before this message ends, you will understand why your spirit has been packing before your hands ever touched a bag. Stay with me, do not scroll. There is a reason you have felt restless in places where you once felt safe. There is a reason certain rooms feel smaller now. There is a reason some voices irritate your spirit, even when those voices used to comfort you. God is not confusing you, He is alerting you. You have been trying to call it moodiness. You have been trying to call it stress. You have been trying to call it a phase. But deep inside, you know this is different. This is not the tiredness that comes from one bad day. This is the weight of a season that has expired. Your spirit has been whispering leave before your life has given you a reason. Your heart has been looking toward a door you cannot fully see yet. And every time you try to settle back into the old rhythm, something inside you becomes heavy again. That heaviness is not punishment, it is direction. Maybe your home feels different. Maybe your city feels strange. Maybe your job feels too small for the size of what God has placed inside you. Maybe even your own bed has stopped feeling like rest because your spirit keeps waking up as if it is waiting for instruction. You have noticed the signs, the sudden urge to clean, the strange desire to sort through old things, the quiet pull to release objects, names, habits, and conversations that once felt normal. Heaven has been speaking through discomfort because comfort stopped getting your attention. You may have opened a drawer and felt like you were touching a version of yourself that no longer exists. You may have sat in a familiar chair and wondered why your chest felt tight. That was not imagination. That was your spirit refusing to fit. And there were dreams, roads, doors, cars, airports, empty rooms, suitcases, bridges, long hallways, water, a house you have never seen, but somehow recognized. God has been using the language of the night because your waking mind kept arguing with the instruction. Chosen one, hear this carefully. Not every move begins with money. Not every relocation begins with an address. Not every departure begins with a dramatic goodbye. Sometimes God moves the spirit first, because if He moved the body too early, fear would drag you back. That is why the old place started to press on you. It did not suddenly become evil overnight. It simply stopped having the capacity to hold the next version of you. A seed can stay in the ground for a season, but when the root stretches, the ground becomes too tight. You are not being dramatic. You are not too sensitive. You are not ungrateful for wanting air. There is a holy difference between running away from responsibility and being released from a room that has finished its assignment in your life. God knows the difference. This is why certain people have started to feel heavy. Their words may not be cruel. Their faces may not look like enemies. They may even love you in the only way they understand love. But your spirit can feel when someone is connected to the old season. You tried to explain it to yourself. You said maybe you are tired. You said maybe you need more sleep. You said maybe you are being unfair. But every time you leave their presence, you feel drained in a way rest cannot fix. That is not hatred. That is misalignment. There are rooms where your gift becomes quiet. There are people around whom your confidence shrinks. There are conversations that make your calling feel childish. You laugh, you nod, you act normal, but inside you feel your spirit folding itself smaller just to remain accepted. God did not create you to keep shrinking. He did not breathe purpose into you so you could spend your life apologizing for the size of your calling. The place meant for your spirit will not require you to hide your discernment. or lower your light. This is why you have been waking at strange hours. 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Before sunrise, while the world is still quiet, your eyes open suddenly, and your mind begins to travel toward places, people, decisions, and doors you tried to ignore. Those hours are not empty. Heaven often speaks when the noise is low enough for the soul to hear. And lately, when you wake in the dark, you do not only feel tired, you feel summoned. You feel like something is calling your name beyond the life you built. You have felt it in your body too. A tightness in your chest, a pressure behind your eyes, a heaviness in your shoulders when you enter certain places, a sudden peace when you imagine leaving. Your body has been carrying a message your mind has been afraid to read. Listen, because this matters. God does not always begin with a loud instruction. Sometimes he begins with a holy irritation. He allows the old comfort to stop comforting you. He allows the old circle to stop understanding you, so you finally stop calling captivity peace. At first, you thought something was wrong with you. You asked why you could not enjoy what used to make you happy. You wondered why you felt distant from people who had not done anything obvious. But a new assignment changes your appetite before it changes your location. You cannot desire the old table the same way when God is preparing a different place for you. You cannot keep celebrating small cages after heaven has shown your spirit wide fields. Something in you is being trained to stop mistaking familiarity for safety. There is grief in this. You are not only leaving places, you are leaving versions of yourself. You are leaving the part of you that survived by being agreeable. You are leaving the part of you that stayed too long because leaving felt like betrayal. Pack your bags does not mean panic. It means prepare. It means release what cannot cross with you. It means stop decorating a room that God has already called temporary. It means begin to loosen your grip on what your spirit has already outgrown. For some of you, the bag is emotional, filled with guilt, fear, loyalty, and old explanations. For others, it is relational, tied to people who question every instruction and call your discernment overthinking. And for some, it may become physical. A new door, a new city, a new room, a new start. Before you move one step outward, you must understand why heaven first made your spirit uncomfortable. Because if you do not understand the discomfort, you may call it confusion and stay where grace has already lifted. Stay with me, because the next truth will reframe everything. Chosen one. Now let your spirit settle for a moment. The first part of this word was not meant to scare you. It was meant to wake you. God is not pushing you into panic. He is pulling you out of spiritual numbness, because the old place could not reach the part of you that needed to listen. You are being redirected. You are not restless because you are unstable. You are restless because heaven is moving you. There is a difference. Instability makes you run without wisdom. Redirection makes you uncomfortable until you stop negotiating with what God already told you to release. This is why your peace has changed. Many chosen ones misunderstand this stage. They feel the shaking, then they blame themselves. They feel the distance, then they call it loneliness. They feel the closed door, then they call it rejection. But sometimes rejection is heaven, removing your hand from a handle you were never meant to keep holding. Because this season is not only emotional, I need to name something early. When your spirit is being moved, your mind can become noisy. Old fear speaks, old memories speak, old loyalty speaks. And if your inner signal is weak, you may mistake fear for wisdom while God is actually trying to guide you. There is a restoration audio called the Genius Song. It was created to support the gamma state, the brainwave connected with clarity, intuition, and flow. It uses brain entrainment in a simple 7-minute track, and for some chosen ones, that kind of clarity becomes important during a season of transition. Do not leave the message for it right now. Stay with the word. The door for it is in the description and pinned comment if your spirit recognizes why I mentioned it. but the instruction is still unfolding, because God does not move your spirit without also teaching you how to trust the movement. Now listen closely. You are not being punished by the discomfort. You are being trained by it. God will often make the old place feel tight before he opens the next place wide, because if the old still felt comfortable, you would keep calling delay loyalty. Discomfort is not always danger. Think about Abraham. God did not give him every detail before he called him out. He gave him direction before he gave him the full map. That was not cruelty. That was covenant. God was teaching him to follow presence, not prediction, because the promise required movement before explanation. Some of you keep asking for the whole map. You want the name of the place. You want the date, the person, the money, the confirmation, and the final proof. But heaven is saying, you already have enough light for the next step, and obedience usually begins before comfort arrives. This is why the old routines started to lose their taste. You tried to keep doing what always worked. You tried to keep speaking the same way, smiling the same way, answering the same calls, walking into the same rooms. But the grace on those patterns began to lift. A place can be a blessing for one chapter and a burden in the next. Manna was holy in the wilderness, but it was not meant to follow Israel forever. When the land changed, the provision changed too. You are not betraying the blessing by outgrowing it. You are honoring God by moving when the cloud moves. You can be thankful and still leave. You can love people and still create distance. You can honor a season and still refuse to build a permanent house inside it. Maturity is knowing when a thing was assigned to develop you, not define you forever. Gratitude does not mean stagnation. That is why certain conversations feel unbearable now. You used to explain yourself for hours. You used to prove your heart. You used to soften every word so no one felt challenged by your growth. But now your spirit is tired of shrinking for people who only knew how to love the smaller version. This exhaustion is not ordinary. It is the exhaustion of staying translated into a language your calling no longer speaks. Every time you reduce what God is saying to make others comfortable, you lose strength. Every time you perform the old version, your soul feels further away. God is not asking you to become cruel. He is asking you to become clear. There is a holy difference. Cruelty abandons people from pride. Clarity releases people from false responsibility, because you cannot obey God and manage every reaction at the same time. You have carried people in your spirit for too long. You carried their moods. You carried their disappointments. You carried their expectations. And while you were trying to be safe for everybody, you forgot to ask whether the environment was safe for what God placed inside you. Ask it now. Is this place safe for your assignment? Is this circle safe for your obedience? Is this room safe for your discernment? And when you imagine becoming fully alive, do these people celebrate it, or do they quietly hope you remain manageable? Some places only loved the version of you they could predict. Some people only supported your healing when it did not threaten their access to you. And when God began restoring your voice, they called your boundaries distance. But heaven calls it alignment, maturity, and preparation. This is why God sometimes leads his chosen through separation before elevation. He did it with Moses. He did it with Joseph. He did it with David. Before the public assignment came, there was a hidden place where the old labels could not keep speaking louder than God. So why do you think your separation is proof that God forgot you? What if the distance is protection? What if the silence is sorting? What if the door that closed was not rejection, but mercy standing guard over your next assignment? Before God changes the outside, he changes your tolerance. What you once ignored now troubles you. What you once accepted now grieves you. What you once chased now feels empty, because your appetite is being trained for something higher. This is not pride. This is preparation. The hard part is this. The old place may not look dangerous. It may look normal. It may look familiar. It may even look practical to everyone around you. But God does not measure safety by appearances. He measures it by whether your spirit can obey there. That is why some advice will sound wise but feel dead. That is why some opportunities will look secure but feel heavy. That is why some invitations will flatter your ego but trouble your discernment. Not every open door is your door, and not every closed door is your loss. You are being taught to move by witness, not pressure. The witness of peace, the witness of clarity, the witness of your spirit becoming quiet when something is right. Not comfort, but the deeper peace that remains when obedience feels costly. So stop calling the discomfort random. Stop calling the pressure meaningless. Stop apologizing for the fact that you no longer fit where you once belonged. The old season is not your enemy, but it is no longer your home, and heaven is teaching you how to release it without hatred. There is one reason God has not let you feel peace in the old place anymore. He is breaking your agreement with survival. He is teaching your spirit to stop confusing endurance with obedience. And what God does next will explain why certain doors closed without your permission. Chosen one. This is where the word goes deeper. God does not relocate his chosen ones because he is bored. He moves them when the old ground can no longer carry the weight of the new assignment. He moves them when the atmosphere around them starts resisting what heaven is building inside them. That is why your discomfort has a pattern. It does not come from nowhere. It appears around certain rooms, certain people, certain routines, and certain conversations. Your spirit is reading what your eyes keep excusing, because discernment often detects danger before logic collects evidence. Look at Abraham. He was not called into convenience. He was called out of the familiar. God told him to leave the land he knew, the family system he understood, and the identity that made sense to everyone around him. The promise was ahead, but the command was movement. Abraham did not receive the whole map at the beginning. He received enough direction to obey. God may not show you every detail, because if he gave you everything at once, you might worship certainty instead of trusting him. This is why the old place feels strange. Heaven is teaching you to follow presence, not prediction. You want details because details feel safe. But God often gives direction first, then confirmation along the way, because the journey removes the parts of you that cannot enter the promise. Now look at Joseph. He was carried into places he never chose. A pit, a house, a prison, a palace. From the outside, his movement looked like betrayal and delay. But heaven was positioning him with a precision that even his enemies could not understand. Joseph did not know the pit was transportation. He did not know the accusation was redirection. He did not know the prison was a hallway to authority. Every place that looked like loss was secretly placing him closer to the room where his gift would be needed. So stop measuring your movement by how it feels in the middle. Some divine transitions feel like rejection before they reveal protection. Some closed doors feel cruel before they show mercy. Some losses look like humiliation before they become the exact road to your elevation. There is a stage where God gives you movement before he gives you audience. You may have to obey while people are confused. You may have to pack in silence. You may have to release an environment before anyone claps for your courage. This is holy training. The place meant for your spirit is not only comfortable, it is corrective. It will draw out discipline, courage, clarity, and obedience. It will not flatter the wounded version of you. It will call forth the version that can carry favor without losing humility. Stay with me. The place is not only a destination, it is a version of you that old environments cannot survive. That is why everything has felt so tense. You thought God was only changing where you stand, but he is changing who you are allowed to be when you stand there. This is also why your mind has felt noisy. When heaven begins to move you, fear gets loud, memory gets loud, old warnings get loud. The nervous system remembers every time change hurt you, and it tries to call every new door dangerous before your spirit can call it divine. That is why clarity matters in this season. A noisy mind can make a chosen delay obedience while calling it wisdom. A foggy spirit can stand in front of an open door and keep asking for a sign, not because God is silent, but because old fear is speaking too loudly. This is the reason I mentioned restoration earlier, not as a distraction from the word, but as a witness to the deeper battle. The movement God is leading you into will require more than emotion. It will require discernment, focus, and the ability to hear the quiet signal beneath the noise. Your gamma state, your God-given clarity, your ability to recognize alignment, these things matter when your life is shifting. When the inner signal is dim, everything feels threatening. But when clarity returns, you can feel the difference between fear that protects your ego and peace that confirms your path. Now, understand the map of the move. First, God makes the old place uncomfortable. Second, He removes your appetite for what once fed your smaller self. Third, He exposes the voices that were shaping your decisions. Then He begins to show you where your spirit can breathe. This map is not punishment, it is mercy. God knows you would have stayed too long if everything still felt easy. He knows your loyalty is deep. He knows you can survive almost anything. So sometimes He does not begin by opening the new door. He begins by removing grace from the old one. That is why your patience started feeling like prison. That is why your kindness started feeling like self-abandonment. That is why your silence started feeling less like wisdom and more like fear. God is revealing the difference between holy endurance and learned captivity. This is why you must not curse the old place. Bless it and release it. Take the lesson, not the chain. Carry the wisdom, not the wound. If you leave with bitterness, you drag the old atmosphere with you. But if you leave with obedience, you cross clean. There are 3 places God is leading your spirit toward. The first is protection. Some environments do not attack your body, they slowly suffocate your obedience. The second is provision, where what you carry is recognized by the right people, not mocked or exploited. The third place is assignment. God is not just moving you to make you comfortable. He is moving you because someone, somewhere, something, or some future version of you needs the obedience that can only be born in the right atmosphere. This is why you have felt drawn to places you cannot explain. A city name, a type of room, a landscape, a person, a work, a quiet life, a bigger life. Sometimes your spirit recognizes territory before your circumstances catch up, because assignment has a sound before it has an address. But here is what most people miss. The enemy does not always try to stop your move with obvious attack. Sometimes he uses false peace. He makes the cage look responsible. He makes delay look humble. He makes fear sound like mature advice until you start calling your disobedience wisdom. That is why God has been disturbing the false peace. He has been touching the places where you made agreements with smallness. He has been exposing the difference between rest and numbness. He has been showing you that a quiet life is not always peaceful if your spirit is being silenced. Chosen one, do not ignore the map. If the old place feels heavy, pay attention. If your appetite has changed, pay attention. If the same conversations now grieve you, pay attention. If your spirit becomes peaceful when you imagine release, pay attention. You are not losing your mind. You are finding your direction. You are not abandoning your past. You are answering your future. You are not being uprooted to be destroyed. You are being transplanted because the soil ahead has nutrients the old ground no longer contains. Stay with me, because the real blocker is not the place, the money, or the timing. The next part will reveal why many chosen ones stand at the open door and still hesitate, even after God has already made the old place impossible to love. Chosen one, now we have reached the part your spirit already felt coming. The real blocker is not the place, it is not the money, it is not the timing, it is not even the people around you. The real blocker is the part of you that learned to survive by staying where you were tolerated. You are not afraid to move. You are afraid of who you become when you finally stop needing permission. That is the truth many chosen ones avoid. Because leaving the old atmosphere does not only change your direction, it exposes every agreement you made with smallness. Do not receive this as shame. Receive it as freedom. God is not accusing you, He is awakening you. He knows why you stayed. He knows the wounds that taught you to over-explain, and He knows how heavy false loyalty became when everyone expected you to carry it. You were trained to believe leaving meant betrayal. You were trained to believe choosing yourself meant pride. You were trained to believe obedience must always feel painful and lonely. But what if the next act of obedience is not staying under pressure, but walking out with peace? This is the hidden chain. You are not tied to the old place by love alone. You are tied by identity. You became the helper there, the strong one, the quiet one, the forgiving one. And now God is asking you to become someone they cannot control. That is why the move feels threatening. Not because the next place is wrong. It feels threatening because the old version of you knows it cannot survive in the new atmosphere. The people-pleasing version cannot cross. The self-doubting version cannot lead there. The version that apologizes for discernment cannot enter. The version that needs everyone to approve cannot carry the next assignment. The version that calls fear wisdom cannot walk through the door. God is not just moving your location, He is removing the identity that kept you trapped. This is why your spirit has been packing. It has been folding up old agreements. It has been gathering the pieces of your voice. It has been separating your calling from the opinions that dressed themselves as protection. Your body may still be in the old room, but heaven already lifted your name from the old season. That is the sentence you needed to hear. Heaven already lifted your name from the old season. You are not fighting for release anymore. You are learning how to agree with release. You are not begging for a door anymore. You are being taught how to recognize the door without dragging old fear through it. You asked why certain doors closed without your permission. God was protecting your weakness while He rebuilt your strength. He closed what your guilt would have reopened. He removed what your heart kept negotiating with. He interrupted what your fear kept calling normal. Now see the whole picture. God made the old place uncomfortable because your next assignment could not grow there. The next place requires clarity, discernment, and a spirit no longer ruled by old fear. And this word is for the chosen one who knows survival is no longer enough. This is why clarity matters now. When a chosen one is in transition, the mind can become a crowded room. Fear speaks, memory speaks, old voices speak, guilt speaks. And if the inner signal is weak, even a divine door can look like danger. Remember the restoration audio I mentioned earlier. This is where the full picture matters. The genius song is not a shortcut around obedience. It is a support for clarity, created for people who need the noise to quiet down long enough to hear what has been buried underneath. Dr. Robert Lake spent 34 years studying how sound can guide the brain toward the gamma state. Gamma is the super brainwave connected with clarity, intuition, flow, and those moments when the mind suddenly knows what it could not force before. Researchers at MIT, Princeton, Harvard, and other leading universities have studied this state. For many chosen ones, gamma is not foreign. It is familiar. You touched it as a child, when ideas came quickly and your spirit sensed things before anyone explained them. But life, pressure, trauma, and constant noise trained that gift to go quiet. The genius song uses brain entrainment in a simple 7-minute digital audio. You listen with headphones. You do not need a complicated ritual. You do not need another course that makes your healing feel like homework. This matters because the move God is leading you into requires more than excitement. It requires focus. It requires discernment. It requires the ability to feel the difference between fear that protects your ego and peace that confirms your path. More than 18,366 people have used it, and the stronger signal is not just the number. The stronger signal is that less than 4% ask for refunds, which means most people continue beyond the guarantee window. Now let us speak plainly about value without turning sacred guidance into a sales moment. Some people pay around $15 every month for meditation apps. Others spend $100 to $200 on growth courses. A retreat can cost $400 to $800, and one therapy session may cost around $150. Some clinics charge around $300 for biofeedback sessions over repeated visits. Many of those paths can help, but they are not built to target gamma in this specific way. Dr. Lake compressed his work into one 7-minute audio, and the original price is $49. For viewers of this message, it is $39 as a one-time access, no monthly subscription, no shipping. It arrives digitally by email. It is not placed everywhere online because the goal is not noise. It is meant to reach the ones who recognize the timing. There are also 4 bonuses included. Genius Child is valued at $19. The classic book is valued at $20. Guided visualization is valued at $29. The 5-habit infographic is valued at $12. That is $80 in bonuses included with the $39 access. And there is a 90-day money-back guarantee. If you use it and decide it is not for you, you can email for a full refund. No conditions, no physical return. Even if you refund, you still keep all 4 bonuses, because that honors the time you invested. Now hear this warning with a clear heart. There are imitations using the name. Some are just ordinary sounds. Some do not carry the brain entrainment technology. Do not search for it on random platforms and assume every result is real. The verified path is in the description and pinned comment only. Pause for a moment. Breathe. Put your hand over your chest if you can. This is not only a decision about $39. This is a decision about whether you are ready to support the clarity of the person God is calling forward. If your spirit says yes, you already know what to do. The verified door is below in the description and pinned comment. Move calmly. No panic, no pressure, just agreement. And now stay with me, because the final seal is where your spirit agrees with what heaven has already decided. Take a deep breath now. Let your shoulders drop. Let your hands become still. You have heard the warning. You have felt the witness. Now this is the moment where your spirit stops arguing with what heaven has already decided. God is not asking you to panic. God is asking you to agree. The command was never meant to create fear. Pack your bags means prepare your heart. It means loosen your grip. It means stop building comfort in a place that grace has already marked temporary. The old room may still have memories, but memories are not always instructions. Chosen one, you are allowed to bless a place and still leave it. You are allowed to thank a season and still step beyond it. You are allowed to love people without making their comfort the border of your obedience. This is not rebellion. This is alignment. Put your hand over your chest if you can. Breathe slowly. Let this word settle into the place that has been tired from holding everyone else together. You are not being torn away from safety. You are being drawn into the atmosphere where your spirit can finally breathe again. Say this with your spirit first. I release the old room. I release the false guilt. I release the fear of being misunderstood. I release the belief that obedience must make everyone comfortable. I release the version of me that stayed small so others could feel secure. Say it again, but slower. I release what God has already released. I stop calling delay wisdom. I stop calling survival peace. I stop calling fear maturity. I stop decorating a chapter that heaven has already finished. My spirit is ready to move. The place meant for your spirit will not require you to become less awake. It will not punish your discernment. It will not mock your sensitivity. It will not make your gift feel like a burden. It will have room for the version of you that God protected in secret. You are not moving because the old place failed you completely. You are moving because its assignment is complete. That difference matters. Bitterness tries to make you leave wounded. Obedience lets you leave clean. So do not carry the old atmosphere into the new door. Bless the lessons, release the chains, bless the people who taught you what love is not. Release the need to explain every step. Bless the memories that shaped you. Release the identity that trapped you. You can leave with honor and still never return to bondage. God is not only changing your address, He is changing your appetite. He is changing what you tolerate. He is changing the sound your spirit recognizes as home. This is why you no longer feel peace around what once felt normal. Your inner witness has been upgraded. Now declare this: I receive the place prepared for my spirit. I receive divine protection. I receive clean provision. I receive the assignment that fits the person God is making me. I will not shrink to stay accepted. I will not betray my calling to remain familiar. I will not confuse comfort with covenant. I will not confuse history with destiny. I will not confuse pressure with guidance. I will not confuse noise with confirmation. The voice of God will be stronger in me than the fear of people. Chosen one, the old season trained you to ask permission for your own breath, but the new season will require you to stand without apology, not arrogant, not harsh, not cold, clear, steady, rooted, obedient, free. Yes, you have changed. That is the point. You prayed for growth, and growth arrived with a suitcase. You prayed for breakthrough, and breakthrough arrived as a command to release. You prayed for peace, and peace began by disturbing everything that was pretending to be peace. You are not chasing signs. You are walking with God. There is a difference. Chasing signs makes you anxious. Walking with God makes you attentive. Your spirit will not need chaos to recognize direction when peace is present and obedience is clear. If the original restoration audio I mentioned is part of your preparation, the verified door remains in the description and pinned comment. Do not rush from fear, move from witness. Let clarity support the transition, because the new place requires a mind that can hear beyond old noise. Now speak this over your life. I will go where God leads me. I will not worship familiarity. I will not stay loyal to environments that suffocate obedience. I will not call myself abandoned when heaven is relocating me. I will not fear the place meant for my spirit. I bless the old chapter. I close it with honor. I forgive what tried to delay me. I forgive myself for staying longer than I should have. I receive grace for the transition. I receive courage for the unknown. I receive peace for the step in front of me. Heaven goes before me. The Father watches over me. The Spirit guides me. No counterfeit door will deceive me. No familiar chain will reclaim me. No voice of fear will outrank the instruction of God. I am covered. I am led. I am ready. If this word is bearing witness in you, type 777 in the comments. Let it be your agreement that your spirit is ready to move with God. Not because a comment has power by itself, but because your spoken agreement matters when heaven is calling you forward. Like this message, so another chosen one receives their instruction. Someone else has been feeling the same heaviness and blaming themselves for it. Your simple action can help this word reach the one who is standing in the old room, wondering why their spirit already feels gone. Subscribe if your spirit knows God is still speaking. This was not the end of your guidance. This was the beginning of a cleaner season. You are going to need words that keep your discernment sharp while the old atmosphere loses its grip. And before you leave, receive this blessing. May every false door lose its attraction. May every true door become clear. May your sleep become peaceful. May your mind become steady. May your spirit recognize the place prepared for it without begging fear for permission. God is not sending you out empty. He is sending you prepared. He is not moving you because you failed. He is moving you because the assignment changed. The old place was a chapter. The next place is alignment. Pack your bags in your spirit first. Walk slowly. Walk clean. Walk covered. You do not need to prove the command to everyone who cannot hear it. You do not need to explain the peace that comes after release. God knows the address. God knows the timing. God knows the way. Chosen one, it is time. Not time to panic. Not time to run blindly. Time to prepare. Time to agree. Time to release. Time to become too aligned, to return to what once contained you. God is leading you to the place meant for your spirit. So go in peace. Go with discernment. Go with courage. Go with a clean heart. The bags your spirit packed were not filled with fear. They were filled with wisdom, endurance, healing, and the proof that you survived the old season without losing the voice of God within you. Amen.